A man gets a second chance at life and gets transformed back to his younger self. He struggles to decide between either pursuing his dream to join college basketball or going back to his family. You'll have to stick around to the end to see how the whole story unfolds. Hello and welcome to Comedy Recap. Today we will give you a recap of the film 17 Again. Spoilers ahead, obviously. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. The movie starts with young Mike practicing basketball when his coach arrived and motivated him by reminding him that he will get the scholarship if he manages to play at least half of the match. The rest of Mike's team then arrives and they all then assemble to get their photograph taken. Now the match is about to start when Mike decided to dance along with their cheerleading. He then looked away from the crowd and saw his beautiful girlfriend just standing there and waiting for him to meet her. Mike walked to her and kissed her when he saw her worried about something. She told him gradually, and he walked back to the game with a worried look on his face. The match began and the tension was palpable on the court. Mike had the ball, but he was so preoccupied with thoughts of his girlfriend's recent revelation. He caught a glimpse of her sitting on the sidelines, tears streaming down her face as she made her way out of the arena. Mike knew what he had to do. He took a deep breath and made a bold move. He threw the ball away and ran after his girlfriend. As he caught up with her, he explained that he was worried about what she had told him. He reassured her that he wanted her and their future together, not just a scholarship. He emphasized that she was the most important thing in his life and that he would stand by her no matter what. And who wouldn't want to be with her? Just take a look at her. Next, we see, many years later, that adult Mike woke up in his friend's house. He then went and met with his friend Ned and had breakfast with him. Ned tried convincing him that his wife Scarlett kicking him out of the house wasn't a negative point, but failed to come up with reasons. Mike then went to his job and was about to get promoted. Now we get a look at his office where Mike sits among all female coworkers. He thought that his boss was about to promote him, but he promoted a girl who had just joined the team recently, while Mike had worked there for 16 years. The meeting got dismissed, and Mike walked up to his boss and tried to get reasons out of him. His boss explained that he was very valuable for them to be promoted. Mike got angry and smashed his boss's headset right into the wall. Mike visited his old school and stumbled upon a photo that reminded him of happy times. A janitor appeared and offered to take Mike back in time to make different choices, which Mike eagerly agreed to. However, when his daughter arrived, the janitor disappeared into thin air. Mike realized he was dreaming. He then took his daughter and his son to eat and tried to bond with them, but his children completely ignored him. He dropped them back at their house and met with his wife, who was throwing everything from the yard into a shredder. Mike complained to stop destroying their yard. Scarlett then explained that he, in the last 18 years, always complained, while Mike stated that he could have achieved a lot if he had decided to go to college. This made Scarlett sad and walk away with her friend who just walked in. It started to rain when Mike decided to go back to his friend Ned. He drove on a bridge when he saw someone about to jump. He stopped his car and went out to save him, but realized that the man was the janitor from his old school. A bus crossed between them and the man disappeared. Mike got confused and thought that the man had jumped over the bridge. He went and looked over it. He saw his younger self in the water and accidentally fell into it. Later, Mike returned home after a rainy walk and saw his younger self in the mirror. He screamed and woke up his friend Ned, who tried to attack him. In the struggle, Ned tripped and fell, hitting his head. He then tried to fight Mike with the lightsabers before realizing he was mistaken. Ned had a picture-perfect plan to take down Mike, but it was all just a frame-up. The struggle resulted in Ned dropping a frame on Mike's head, knocking him out. Now we see Mike holding an ice bag to his head while Ned constantly gazed at him in shock. He then failed to explain to him when Ned told him that there was a spirit guiding him. Mike started remembering and thinking about the janitor and realized that he was his spirit guide. He then went straight back to his school and kept looking for an old janitor who had his day mopped up. He failed as multiple people denied any old janitor working there. He then saw a track of puddles of water leading down right back to the court. Mike finally realized that the spirit wanted him to play and had given him another chance at life. He then went back to Ned and explained everything to him and asked him to help him out to join back at the school. Ned completely disagreed with ever going back to that cursed place, since he had only bad memories about it, where later we see him standing at the school's office pretending to be Mike's father and making him join the school. They met with the principal, and Ned completely fell for her and started to flirt with her awkwardly. The principal reviewed Mike's portfolio and decided to let him join. They then walked out when some students started to laugh at Mike's appearance. Ned decided to help him and took him to the shop. Now, we see an Audi car arriving at the school. New, transformed Mike walked out of it while everyone looked at him, mostly the girls who were drooling over him. Mike's transformation had everyone seeing him in a new light, except for his wife, who was ready to turn off the old ones. He walked to his class when he got a call from his wife, who was sitting at the divorce meeting and asking him where he was. Mike had forgotten about it and covered it up by saying that he had to go out of the country for work. He then saw his daughter Maggie arrive in class and waved at her while she weirdly looked at him. Later, Mike played basketball and was put on a new team by the coach. He told Ned about the good news and found his son Alex tied to a toilet seat. After freeing him, they went to lunch. At the restaurant, they were confronted by Stan, the team's captain, and the bully who had been bothering Alex and dating his daughter Maggie. Mike stood up to Stan and embarrassed him in front of everyone, calling him a bully.
Stan has a small wiener.
He then met Ned and explained to him that the spirit wanted him to help his children through high school. He then played basketball with Alex a little, when Scarlett arrived with her friend. She met young Mike, who introduced himself as Ned's bastard son. She was drunk a little and couldn't stop staring at him as he resembled her ex-husband. Now we see Mike attending his class where the teacher provided the students with contraceptives and alerted them to take precautions. Mike gave a speech in his class about safe sex and the importance of being with someone you love. The girls returned their contraceptives. Stan took them all and boasted to Maggie. Mike tried to tackle Stan, but we could say that he got rubbered by him, and their attraction became a viral video in the school. Later, Mike went to meet Scarlett and agreed to help her to recreate her yard. He also started to train Alex, and then took him to tryouts for the team. Both of them luckily got selected. Scarlett then finally showed Mike her newly set garden, which amazed him. She then told him that she was about to go on a date. She came again all dressed up and was practicing her dance moves when Mike crept up on her and he started to dance with her. Her date then arrived and she left with him. Soon, right after Stan came and picked up Maggie for a party. Mike had to keep an eye on her, so he took Alex there as well. Now, they're at the party, where Mike advised Alex to finally talk to the girl he liked. Alex was on fire during tryouts, but little did he know the real heat was yet to come at the party and accidentally did catch his leg on fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Later.
Just gonna do well.
Mike then found Maggie and tried to convince her that she shouldn't date Stan, but pissed her off. Now we see everyone at the match where Scarlett sat with her new date. The match began and both teams played equally strong. In the end, the score had tied when Mike decided to pass the ball to Alex, who threw it and made the shot, making them win the match. Ned also managed to get a date with the principal, which made Mike announce to everyone that he was going to have a party at his place. He then found Maggie crying over Stan dumping her, and then confronted her by asking her to come to his party. Now we're at the party where the house is fully crowded. Stan approaches Maggie again and asks to have a good time together, but she refuses to go with him. Mike arrives and tries to punch him, but he gets knocked out. He then wakes up and finds himself on Maggie's lap and freaks out. The party was heating up, but Mike didn't want to get burned by getting too close to Maggie, so he left. At dinner, Ned reveals to his date that he's a geek, and they both connect over their shared interest. They come home to find a party that Ned is unhappy about, and the principal calls it off. Mike starts talking to Scarlett and kisses her while their daughter and friends watch. Scarlett slaps him and leaves, and she doesn't believe that Mike is her husband. Ned then slaps Mike as he's angry. Mike worries about his family drifting away and realizes the court meeting for his divorce is due soon. They rush to the court but are removed by security. Mike pretends to have a letter from Scarlett's husband and emotionally recalls their memories, letting her move on if she wants. He leaves the letter on the table and goes home, depressed and convinced his family is happier without him. Scarlett is stunned by the letter and realizes it's blank. Now, everyone was at the court waiting patiently for the match when Scarlett looked at Mike again and finally got convinced that it was indeed him. She then was about to leave when Mike saw her again and thought all about his past decisions. He finally made the same decision and chose to run after her. He passed through a mysterious void and finally converted back to his normal adult self. He then met Scarlett and finally apologized to her for always complaining and nagging. She stopped him from talking and then kissed him. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.